Hello and welcome into the SorareData Game Week 443 preview. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined once again. He is back. Quinny is here. I'm fired up. Quinny, good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. Happy New Year, I guess. Are we still doing that?
Man, 17 days in. Yeah, we haven't done that yet. Much appreciated Harry Trades for the fill-ins sporadically here. And I went solo. You were saying, just mentioned before, I went solo on Monday because there's very little going on. But we've got a packed weekend this weekend with everyone's favorite Bayern, Munich, and Real Madrid at the top.
Oof. I
feel like we were starting to avoid this, and now we're just back, and I'm just like, oh, great, there they are again.
Yeah, it's sort of reading that one. Individually, but both teams are a wee bit, they're not totally set at the moment, in terms of the lineups and even just who's on fire at the moment. So Bayern, maybe that's less true than Real Madrid, certainly, but yeah, it's definitely, as soon as you put that page up there and it's Bayern, Real, Benfica, Feyenoord, Fenerbahce, Ajax. Yay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then actually my favorite is that the first one from AFCON is Ivory Coast that claims to be away to Equatorial Guinea, except the tournament is literally in the Ivory Coast. They're the only home team in this entire tournament, and there they are. But, that's all we got to deal with this week. So let's jump in to Second Division Europe. Middlesbrough at the top against Rotherham, and then Leeds. Oh, man, it's going to be Leeds, St. Pauli, KSC, and Espanyol are the ones 60 and over. Every time I see Leeds, I'm just reminded of the Somerville-Rudder combination that I gave up. And, man, those are some very tasty matchups for those teams this week.
Leeds are the only undefeated home team in the Championship at the moment. Preston, away from home, are not that bad, but they're 18th out of 24, I suppose, but the record isn't that shaky. But overall, Preston are, mid-table, actually. Yeah, it's just absolute bang average team, but Leeds, very good at home, sitting in fourth, 6-7 points off the top two automatic spots. So, yeah, fighting for playoffs still, and 27 games done. I think the Championship all told, 42 games or something? 46 it'll be.
40s, yeah. 6,
so yeah, it feels like it should be in the final third of the season, but it's not quite there. So there'll be no taking these games lightly, I don't think. In every home game, a team like Leeds, they should probably smash. Middlesbrough, we've not really seen them in the second division thing. I don't think there's many cards for them right enough, but they're playing Rotherham, who's just the whipping boy of the division. So
yeah,
if there's any of them in there, cool.
Yeah, not much going on there. I'm a little surprised at Holstein Kiel.
Yep,
it's probably Kiel. Aren't they first?
They are top, yeah. And they're playing Braunschweig, who are second bottom.
Yeah, and to be, 56% win feels low to me. I don't know anything about this team other than they're first and they're playing second from the bottom, and yet we have bigger favorites on the slate.
Yeah, Kiel are they've won 5 out of 5, conceding 4 and 5, scoring 14. And over 10 games, they've only lost once, scoring 21 goals in 10 games, conceding 9. So really, really strong. It's not even as if maybe they're top and they fell off a form, maybe is what I was thinking. Maybe they've just, just fell off a cliff or whatever.
Yeah.
Also at home, favours them greatly. They win more than they lose, certainly. And Braunschweig, as we know, are just the whipping boys of the division, conceding 2 goals a game on the road this season, 16 over 8 games.
Yeah, somebody knows something, and we don't know what that is. So we'll see what comes up. Charlie said, I'm slightly disgusted with how low Coventry versus Sheffield Wednesday are on this. Coventry 1 defeat in the last 13 and just beat Leicester. As I continue to scroll, where are they? Did I miss? Oh, here they are.
Ooh.
They're away. That's all I know. Yeah.
Coventry, second form team in the last 5 games, winning 4, drawing 1. So yeah, Coventry are definitely on it. Third overall in the form over the last 10 matches, only losing once as well. So yeah, that could be good. Sheffield, but maybe how bad are they?
They're dead last.
Wow, yeah, third bottom.
Third. Okay, they're improving.
Yeah, they've won 2 in the last 5. It's probably put some points on the board for them. But yeah, that's quite. There's 2 outliers there. I think Holstein Kiel is probably one of those. It's definitely we'll find a stack of them somewhere, won't we?
Yeah.
They'll pop up in a limited division somewhere, field collection bonus, the guy on all the set pieces, the goalkeeper, So yeah, fair play to them this year, going a wee bit under the radar on the matchups tab, and that looks like the pick, doesn't it?
Mike Basson said that Lewis Holtby is the new Marvin. Actually, he's literally right here.
He used to be really good, like when he was a bit younger.
Yep.
For Hamburg and Schalke, I think it was. Wow, he is really good. Yeah.
Was he ever in the Prem?
I think he maybe went to Tottenham for a minute.
That sounds familiar.
If I was to guess, I'd guess Tottenham, but
let's see here.
It says like German, but it sounds English.
Yeah. So he had 25 appearances for Tottenham, as well as 13 with Fulham on loan from Tottenham. Fulham is how I remembered him, and not from Tottenham. But yeah, Charlie says he was at Spurs, but was not very good.
It's not good. It's not nice.
So yeah, I mean, second division looks pretty competitive. I mean, there are plenty of St. Pauli stacks out there. We don't have any new Leeds cards, but it feels like there are Leeds cards everywhere. And
St. Pauli's a bit of a false one there, by the way. At home to Kaiserslautern. I don't know where they are in the league at the moment, but Kaiserslautern are normally pretty handy. And that's the fixture I went to. I went to St. Pauli at home to Kaiserslautern like 6 years ago or something. And it was absolutely mega. Kaiserslautern are now, 15th out of 18th. They are doing really bad in the league, but I don't think that'll be it should be on paper, I suppose. St. Pauli are still undefeated overall.
Yeah.
It's a really good record for them, I suppose. I don't know. If you look at the head-to-head on it, it's definitely a spicy match. So maybe don't put your eggs all in the one basket on that one.
All right. Rikoman says he's got the Magdeburg stack. Who are they? They were up here.
Wehen.
Wiesbaden. Whoever. All right. Yeah, I think there's a lot to have. Mike Basson, full St. Pauli collection ready to go.
Could be good, but see, the head-to-head is what would scare me on that one. I'll pull it up for a second, but it's a clean sheet I think you're after, really, and that's what would put me off it more than anything. Because St. Pauli not got a clean sheet, and they don't get clean sheets very often. It looks like, certainly on form. And
I had their goal at form. It doesn't happen often.
If you look at all the head-to-head, like between St. Pauli and Kaiserslautern, like St. Pauli won the last one 2-1, 1-0. Kaiserslautern won 2-1, 1 each, 2-1. It's always tight, whether they're good or bad, both of them. So, maybe not high scoring. Watch the clean sheet.
All right, we've got Empty Asia, America. We've got Liga MX and
Colombia. I only know because I've got a guy that's moved to that Atlético Nacional. See the green team? I got a guy that moved there, so I know it's Colombia.
Who'd you have?
Hey, a guy played for Girona. He's not made an appearance yet. So hopefully, I'll wait for that debut. Then I'll start playing him,
There you go. Looks like we don't have any of the odds yet, so we'll have to update those. But I don't know anything about Colombia. If anyone here does, I don't even know which team is the one that's minted from Colombia, which is why we have coverage. Any idea?
Don't know if it's even on screen. I feel I would recognize it.
It's an easy way to find out, I think. I'm going to say this, and then it's going to be a bunch of guys who actually don't play there.
Do we actually have Colombian license? I think we have. Obviously, we have coverage, but I think that might be one of those we've just got coverage. I think we've always had Colombia.
Oh, are they? No, they're not Liga Pro, right? What are they?
Oh,
Primera. I got nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Club America.
Liga MX is really what the show is, isn't it? Liga MX.
Yep. Club America at the top. They heavily rotated in their first match last weekend. So, boy, am I hoping that at least one guy gets in, as you can see. So, but I think the expectation is they should. So yeah, they're at home. Against who is that? Oh,
Querétaro.
Toluca against Mazatlan, Puebla against Nixaca, and then Tigres and Atlas also at home. And yeah, I guess the only Are they favored? Juarez, barely. I don't know, not much going on. But yeah, Club America, who has a decent number of cards for being an unlicensed team. I say that and one guy shows up, but they have more. Oh, this is their last game. That's why. Hold on. If you go to like the last game of the Apertura, they have plenty of.
Oh, yeah.
You could full stack them.
Where did Cade Cowell go? He went to Mexico, didn't he?
Chivas
he went to.
Yeah.
And I seen Cuadrado's moving to Leon from Betis as well, Mexican midfielder. That's been announced kind of today, yesterday.
Yeah. So I think, it's a Liga MX
was fun
weekend. Challenger, I'll bring this up because Mike Basson brought this up. Quinny, do you still have Inbrecht Super Rare? Because Anthony Morris's suspension that was supposed to be served during this midweek during their cup match, the cup match has been postponed, and so Morris is suspended this weekend.
No, I don't have him, sadly. I accepted it. He funded half of my Timo Werner Super Rare Inbrechts. So I got an offer that was like, as soon as this guy doesn't play again, I'm not going to get an offer like this for a long time. So just let's accept this. And then the Werner thing happened. I was like, oh, cool, I've got a wallet. Jackpot,
Jackpot, yeah. No, that's I think that's a fair trade. I was talking about that actually with Gator Guy earlier. How much people are paying for Inbrecht, and like he will not start other than these like random suspensions that happen or an injury. Like there's no way he takes over at USG. So
the purpose of a guy like that, but is to have yourself for when you need them.
Yes.
The purpose of these guys isn't to run out and get them for one game unless you're getting them at a mad cheap price and it's just completing a team that's clearly going to kick, or something like that. So yeah.
Yep. And then Bakasetis is off to Greece. I assume is that now?
Panathinaikos, yeah, we're doing that pronto, I think.
Immediately, huh? Oof. That's
apparently somebody was telling me in the group chat that the Panathinaikos manager he's maybe a former Turkish Super League manager or something like that. So he's scouting Turkey for the Panathinaikos. So watch out for that.
Charlie thinks the USG loaned in a goalkeeper, so who knows if Inbrechts will even play, which incredible.
Wouldn't that be typical?
Yeah. Mike Basson, Calvo confirmed at Juarez. So I think that he's been training too. So that's certainly possible that he could start. And if anyone knows that Brandon Vasquez is expected to start for Monterey.
There's somebody else. When I brought up Cade Cowell, I was like, somebody else I want to mention, but I can't remember who. What do you think of Vasquez? I was quite surprised he went to Mexico.
I was surprised as well, if only because I thought that he always talked about like European ambitions, and it seems like Mexico doesn't need to be a stop before he goes to Europe.
Yeah, I know we're kind of moving on to Challenger Europe, but just on that note, for me, the Mexican League is now a step down from MLS. You've got the Barca Tribute Band in Florida now. Playing in that league, you're getting less eyes on you. You're playing, the standard of opponent that's going to go up in MLS this off season and the new season is probably going to be one of the biggest jumps it's had across the league. I think lots of teams will be able to get way better players than before. So I found it really weird. Just wanted to hear what you thought.
So it's funny that you say that about less eyes on you. More people watch Liga MX in the US than Major League Soccer. But sure. I think more people watch MLS globally than Liga MX. So it's one of those that playing in MLS, and that's to your point, playing in MLS allows people outside of the US to see you more. And yeah, as Brad said, it's a sideways step. It's a weird one. Monterey had plenty of money, so maybe he just got a pay bump that he wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
Fair. Anyway, Challenger, Benfica, Feyenoord, Fenerbahce, Ajax, Club Brugge.
So who's who, isn't it?
I mean,
closely followed by Porto, PSV, AZ.
Yeah. PSG, Porto, PSV, AZ, Ghent. Man, that is just...
But we've also had some transfer news from Ghent this morning. Oh, no, sorry, it's Genk. Or was it Ghent? I'm sure it's Ghent.
Ghent.
Yeah, Gift Orban is left the building for 13 million euros. Doesn't that feel like they've had their pants pulled down?
I thought so. I think he's been fairly poor, but also why sell for that?
Yeah.
That's sort of the way I was looking at it. He's off to Lyon, right?
Yeah.
Who love a youngster. So I don't know. Yeah,
surprising one.
Weird one to me, for sure. Benfica 81%. Particularly frustrating for me. Sporting do not play this weekend, even though the rest of Premier League play. They played midweek. So
is there a game in hand getting caught up then? Because I know the Portuguese title race is very tight between at least two of them now. Yeah. I know they're all in the same matches before this weekend, so Sporting will have a game in hand to catch up on after this.
Yeah. No. They play Thursday, so they'll be ahead.
Oh, of course. Okay, so we are Wednesday. They play Thursday. Got you.
Yeah. Or when I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow.
Sure.
But yeah, so all the heavy hitters. We do have a few others in decent matchups. Heracles home against Volendam for all those Heracles stackers. This is the week.
Wait.
Anderlecht away to Leuven. We have Genk against Cercle Bruges. That seems low to me, but I guess Cercle Bruges are pretty good. Aren't they near the... Are they fit?
I think they score goals, don't they?
Yeah. They're 5th or 6th, right? Oh, 7. Okay. I don't think I realized Anderlecht were really still flying that much. Jeez.
Finally got their act together. It's only taken like 5 seasons.
And now Yari's back.
Well, it's all going to fall off. It's all going to fall apart now. Then, eh?
No.
He'll get 5 decisives. Then he'll get injured, and then Anderlecht will finish 7th.
Please no. But I mean, Cercle Bruges 10 wins.
It's formidable.
And 1 draw and 9 defeats. That's crazy.
That's like going for it, isn't it? At the end, just throwing the kitchen sink at it, or no draws is very striking.
Mike told me not to jinx Heracles. Remember what I said about Walwick last week? That went well. That's not as well. Unlucky. Let's see. Galatasaray away to Trabzonspor. That's a little bit of a difficult one.
It's the top of the table for sure.
Besiktas away. That's Pendikspor. I'm surprised they're that low.
Yeah, Pendikspor second bottom. That should be a bit higher, I think. Galatasaray second, Trabzonspor third. That's a 6-pointer top of the table clash on that one.
Rotterdam Go Ahead Eagles is a pretty good one. Like, I think Go Ahead Eagles are fairly... I'm going to look really bad. I thought they were pretty good this year. 6 and 7. Yeah, so basically the top 5, the big ones, PSV Feyenoord, 20, AZ Ajax, and then the next group right there.
I think the thing with Sparta and Eagles, but is it'll probably be like 2 each or something like that. It's neither team is particularly good at defending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to scrolling down to see if there are any like surprising big teams down here, but they're not.
Yeah.
I'm even surprised to see Heron being favored away to Excelsior.
This will be interesting for a few of these teams as well, because obviously we're just coming out of some winter breaks and stuff like that. We're also still in the middle of the January transfer window as well. So these game weeks can be quite funny for some of these teams, for like a guy just moves last minute, and it's like Friday, 8:00, and it's like, oh, this guy's transferring like from Ghent to Lyon, and he's out the squads this weekend, and your team's already locked in and whatever. So there's always a wee bit of that. Like Russian roulette on the go with the transfer window at the moment. Some of those teams right at the top are maybe some of the ones that have players that could be picked off by a champ team or something like that. So it's a hard thing to forecast or whatever, but it's just something I thought to mention because it came to mind.
Yeah, not even the good teams, because so like Fortuna, Iver Pandor is supposed to go to Hull and hasn't gone yet, but is also not playing for Fortuna. So he's in this like weird limbo that he's not going to play, or he's not going to play this match. I don't think, but the move to Hull isn't official yet, so we haven't seen that.
I thought that was all done and dusted, and he was like over there. And
I think he is, but there's like they haven't announced it yet, and so it's not. I think it's still. I don't know what's going on. They haven't finalized the pictures. Oh, Mickey Fu said he's waiting for his work permit. Okay, I was gonna say we were waiting for the pictures where he's like on the treadmill with all like the mask and the tubes coming out. But,
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Gus Van Leeuwen there. I can't see his full name. Sorry, I'm guessing it's Leeuwen because it's cut off on my wee screen. But he's saying he's got Ajax, Feyenoord, and Bruges stacks to line up and mix up. So that's a fun. Yeah, is Van Leeuwen that's a good combo to be playing with this week.
For real, my God.
Feyenoord away to Vitesse should be like 5-0 or something, shouldn't it?
Which one?
Feyenoord away to Vitesse. That should be a slaughter. And what do you think about Jordan Henderson moving to Ajax? That should be Sorare-wise. That should be OP, shouldn't it?
So my problem with thinking that is that I just don't think he's any good anymore.
I think you underestimate going to the Eredivisie from essentially the Premier League. I know he's been in Saudi for a holiday, but like I remember Scott Sinclair coming to Celtic and he was done. Like he was done. Couldn't get off the bench for Aston Villa. He came to Scotland and was Player of the Year first year. Looked like a world beater. Had 2 good seasons at us, and then when he left Celtic, he moved to Preston. So I think like the level the Premier League is at, like it's so high that like playing for Ajax, especially who'll dominate the ball, be in possession.
Yeah.
I could just see him getting like 130 passes a game, 20 of them into the final third, 2 tackles, an interception, a couple of duels every match, clocks in 60 to 70 for fun. That's what I think. But he is old.
I'm not even gonna speculate. I just it seems like such a weird fit to me. Like I really don't get it. Like I feel like you don't see many guys do that. Like English guys make that move to Ajax.
No,
and it seems like a move that Ajax doesn't do either.
But Ajax, when they spend money on like Tadic or Haller or any, they know what they're getting for their money normally, and they're trying to. I was just thinking as we're talking there, but they're basically trying to buy a Vanaken. They want a midfielder that's like been there, done it, is a bit of a general, can organise the whole team, can like lead on the pitch. Because they've not really, doesn't seem like they've had that for a while, obviously, since all the players are sold and the manager changes and everything else. So, like, if that's the role he gets, I just don't see him not always been on the ball, and he's not an attacking mid. So, like, a la Hector Herrera, Ache kind of vibes,
Yeah. Okay, all right. I can see it, I guess a little.
Yeah, we're just spitballing. That's all.
Yeah. If I squint enough, I can see it. Let's go over to champion. Sarah Holland reminded us that Tadic also came straight from the Premier League to Ajax. But like that path was different than like he wasn't a long time Premier League player. He's also not English. Like I think that has something to do with it now. Anyway, champion Europe, as we said, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid were the 2 highest favorites of the entire game week. So naturally they'll be the tops here. Arsenal, Roma, now with Daniele De Rossi at the charge.
Yeah.
I have never been like a huge Mourinho guy. I like him for like the antics. He's like entertaining to me. Yeah. But I genuinely like felt that yesterday with do you see the videos where he was like crying in the car driving away? Like I think that job actually, or at least the city, meant a lot to him. And I don't follow Roma enough, so I had no idea that he was even on the hot seat, but that seems shocking to me.
Yeah, I was gutted for him. I'm a big Mourinho guy, like, despite him causing so much pain for Celtic fans at the beginning of his career. But yeah, I was a bit gutted to see him go. But he's like, Mourinho like bleeds football. My favourite gif of Mourinho is like the football heritage thing. And see if you like actually listen to that little segment that comes up in my timeline every so often. But he's a guy that bleeds football. And see like Roma is like the stereotypical like dream of a club where it's like hardcore fans. You get guys in your academy that dream to play for the first team, like genuinely dream. It's like, in that sense, the stadium's full, the fans are mental, and they're dying for success kind of thing. So yeah, Fabio Capello came out, and he said like that Roma have disrespected and and this is a crime against football, for what they've done to Mourinho after him winning. He's been at 2 cup finals in Europe back-to-back years, winning one, losing one. The antics, of course. But I heard an interesting stat on the radio. I can't remember it exactly, so I'm going to just exaggerate it a little bit, right? But in Mourinho's 3 years at Roma, there's been 27 red cards given to the bench. I'm exaggerating, right? But it's something like that,
I love it.
There's just all sorts of stuff, so
yeah,
it's never dull.
right. I will say that like De Rossi was one of those kids who grew up at Roma. So like I get appointing him, but it seemed like it wasn't all that necessary right now.
Well, let's see what he does. It's maybe they're going for the Pep vibe, they're going for the Zidane vibe, somebody who's like, maybe the same cut of Mourinho, but maybe a level up on the club side of things, because Mourinho's, I think part of the thing with Roma, if we can just be in this wee rabbit hole for a minute, is Mourinho's thing when he goes to clubs is he relies really heavily on his connections in football with agents and players and all the rest of it. And when you look at the Roma team, it's full of guys like Renato Sanchez and Dybala and Matic and Smalling and Tammy Abraham. And they're all kind of good and decent and stuff like that. But Roma beforehand were doing much smarter business. You know, they were selling guys when they were like peaking and getting a bit older, and then trying to reinvest into some smarter guys that were a bit younger. So like maybe they're just going to have a bit of a reset. Mourinho's come in, done a bit for them, got the trophy in the bag, and can they get that kind of homegrown spirit kind of moving on a little bit play style wise? So definitely an interesting one. They're really high on that board there because of Verona mainly being so crap. I don't see De Rossi not having a good debut bout, you know, especially at Roma at home for this one. It should be emotional anyway, you know, for the fans. I think there'll be a wee farewell for Mourinho, maybe from the stands and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's hard to see him getting off to a bad start. They do have a good squad. Verona are terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Roma's sitting 9th right now, but they're 5 points off 4th. Like, it's just, I don't know.
And Italy might get 5 Champions League spots this year. They should. They're in cruise control for it. Them in Spain, I think, or it's not England at the moment anyway.
One of my best friends is a longtime Roma supporter, and he loves Mourinho, but also like De Rossi is like just an absolute legend to him. Obviously, he's a legend, and so he was like, it's unfortunate, but also so excited that De Rossi is taking over, and so we'll see. Anyway, back to what we're here for: Brighton, Girona, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Juve, Dortmund. They're all up here, but none overwhelming other than Bayern, Real Madrid, Arsenal, and I guess I'll put Roma in. Any of these stick out at you that look like, wait, maybe that's not quite right?
I quite liked Villarreal at home in Mallorca this week, sorry, I beg your pardon. Just because Mallorca are generally bad away, Villarreal need points pretty badly. It's just a game they should probably win. I've got Danny Parejo now. I picked one up over the festive period.
Ooh.
Yeah, fits my Valencia collection, so he just walks in with 2% on him, you know. So if I'll get him,
that.
he was like 50 quid for a rare. I was like, it'd be rude not to, you know.
It's gotten so cheap.
So I've got that at the front of my mind for that reason, and I'm also thinking about like the Spanish Super Cup stuff. And I know they've had time to come back and recover and get ready for the next games, but you know, particularly particularly Barca and Real, like they've got easier games this week, but they have just come back from Saudi Arabia doing, you know, the Harlem Globetrotters effort, basically, you know. So, home Almeria shouldn't be too bad for Barca, but I think Barca, they're away to Betis. So, Barca cards, it's a tough week. Xavi's in the press talking about we need to win titles and all the rest of it, but it doesn't really seem like Barca get much time to get themselves together. You know, it seems like they play all the time, really.
What do you think about Girona against Sevilla there?
It should be good. You know, I'm quite high on Girona at the moment. Obviously, a decent result again last week, or just before the winter break, but it was quite tight. And at home, you know, Girona are just never boring. Honestly, like you can watch them every week, and like even if you want them to lose, it doesn't really matter. It's always exciting. Sevilla have got a new manager, so they're going to go through a wee bit of a change probably over the next couple of weeks. So they're a little, even though they're really low in the table and they've been really bad, you know, that might change. So maybe watch out for that.
They've been shockingly bad this year. Mickey Fu said Villarreal and Sevilla, the most disappointing teams in La Liga this season for sure. Like, Sevilla, my 17th, and Villarreal 15th. Like, that's crazy.
11 losses for Villarreal there, 10 for Sevilla. It's just wild. I was recording some videos, like some kind of like report card things for Premier League teams, and talking about like to get in the top 4, to get into European spots or whatever. See, as soon as the teams clock 10 losses, like their season's done. Like you can't do anything significant really once you've got 10 losses on the board. Like your ceiling is just so low now. So for two teams that are perennially in the top 5, top 6 kind of picture to already be on that, it's mad to see.
Yeah, for sure. The Premier League winter competition, I think, is still going.
I think this is the winter break for the Premier League's been weird. It's like a staggered thing. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit how they've done it.
Maybe it's supposed to run through the end of the month, but maybe this game week. I mean, I don't see it anywhere in here, so let's see. This starts in 2 days. Oh, I guess it does go. They just don't have the direct link for it anymore. Rivals is too important now. So yeah, we still have the winter special. Let's see. We don't have 5 matches. So only half the league playing, but yeah, Arsenal we saw up there near the top, Liverpool as well, and Brighton. Where were they? Yeah, home against Wolves. So that's a pretty decent one for anyone with those cards.
So Brighton v Wolves is on Monday night, and for anyone that doesn't know, Wolves played Brentford last night in the FA Cup, and it went all the way, extra time, penalties, sudden, it went the whole shebang on Tuesday night. So Wolves will have a wee bit of time to recover, but that's a wee bit of a wonky fixture in that sense. Some cup games maybe knocking into it or whatever. So I'd watch out. There's a comment here I just want to pick up on real quickly. Sorare Holland was saying Mourinho to Miami. I think what he's missing with that is 2 things. Number one, Bielsa's there, and he's like Messi's, not Bielsa, sorry, Tata Martino.
Oh, Martina, yeah.
So like that's not going to change. And number 2, if he is going to go somewhere out of Europe, is I mentioned his connections with agents and all the rest of it. It's probably going to be Saudi Arabia if he was to leave Europe, just because of who he knows and who's going to pay him an obscene amount of money. But although I could see Jose in MLS, because I could see him having a bit of fun with it, but so maybe a bit more Zlatan than Beckham. But
yeah, it's certainly not going to happen now. But there were significant U.S. men's national team rumors with Mourinho when they got rid of Berhalter last time, and he said he didn't want it at that time. And then they rehired Berhalter. But man, that'd be fun.
That would be a project, man.
That'd be fun. Leipzig home against Leverkusen. That's the big Bundesliga match of the week. Obviously, players of those both those teams. Do you think is that one of those that goes off with lots of goals, or do you think it ends up being a little tighter?
Yeah, Leipzig don't change who they are, and Leverkusen are probably going to be right happy for that, because Leverkusen, especially without Boniface, obviously he's injured, but he would have been away anyway for AFCON, but without having him, more opportunities to get shots on goal is a good thing for Leverkusen. And I say Leipzig, just, they don't change, so that should be what you expect it to be. 3-2, 4-3, 2 each, something like that.
All right. That sounds fun. We'll see if we can get some points out of our Leverkusen guys, even though they're away. Gator guy wouldn't have that. But all right, let's jump over to some pick scores here. See what the top plays are for All-Star Limited to start, which is pretty much everyone on the game. Of course, Somerville. Literally the top play of the week. Somerville, Jude Bellingham, Leroy Sané are your top 3. I don't know who this guy is. Semi Kilishoy?
Yeah, I'll go with that. 574.
U23 until 2030.
Get to know him, guys. Get to know him. This is Arda Güler, part 2.
Right? Wow. Oof. It seems cheap for a guy this young with those scores.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
So he's right ahead of Harry Kane, which is wild to see.
It is. But it's probably not by much. What is it? The opponent's scores maybe a bit different. Pendix Spor second bottom versus Werder Bremen, who can probably defend, a bit better.
We'll see. Rodrigo up here. It's still, I still haven't accepted that Rodrigo is so much closer to Vinny Jr. than he actually, in terms of Sorare. He might actually be better right now than Vinny.
He's been on fire, Rodrigo. And I think that whole Real Madrid team, they've got a really good thing going there now. And Real Madrid are normally as we all know them, the Galacticos. They're going by the world-class players and try and make a team. But this kind of iteration, they've done so well to get so many guys that are under 20. A lot of the time they've been buying them. A lot of them are now under 25. To see Rodrigo and Vinny there. And the synergy between a lot of the players is it's half the battle, really, So you just really feel when you see these guys clicking. I remember when Vinny really went on fire, Sorare-wise, a year and a half ago or something. It's just nothing went wrong. And when players are in that mode, it's normally just an absolute comfort level and confidence of knowing your teammates, knowing your position, and knowing your ability. And yeah, it's hard to stop people when they're in that form.
For sure. Your name said Rodrigo will be way better in 2 to 3 years. Way better than he is now, or way better than Vinicius Jr.? Juan Brunetta debut with Tigres coming up. He's got a AAA, but
Big discovery game.
Yeah, I don't think Tigres Brunetta is as good as Santos Brunetta, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, a bunch of AAA list just keeps going.
Very good picks this week from a lot of places.
Man.
A few, I don't know if Grimaldo's AAA against Leipzig, if Leipzig can get a few goals, but you never know with Grimaldo, do you? It's just one that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot.
A lot of good picks, a lot of good options this week. And it's quite a quiet game week as well. I know we've actually previewed like a fair amount of matches, but like you mentioned, there's no Asia, and we do have like half the Premier League and no Italy and no France, I think.
No, we have Italy.
We have Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what teams we've seen and stuff like that. So it's not like all firing. Yeah, I think that's maybe the back end of January is when we get everything kind of kicking off. So some of these players are really powerful, but there's not that much else on. So it's kind of like maybe a bit of a week of the haves and the have-nots. Like if you don't have some of these AAA forwards, you're probably kind of screwed because if like 3 or 4 of them smash 80 plus, it's a hard, forward category is a really hard one to score high in, especially when the field leads the way so prominently.
Yeah, we have no Ligue 1. France is off, so that's a big one. That like no Mbappe this week. Your name said no South America too. Yeah, just
next.
Well,
yeah,
we have
Colombia.
Which one did we say they have? Colombia.
Yeah,
for the 13 cards that might exist. Yeah, let's get a quick look at U23.
Oh yeah, U23 should be fun. A few goalkeepers are playing for sure. This is probably a good week for under 23 because a lot of those ones there, yeah, maybe they end up in under 23, I suppose. But I fancy some of those challenger ones to, maybe not find their way into U23. But again, it depends on the galleries and stuff like that. But it could be quite a bit more open.
Yeah, I'll continue to say that I think Jude is just a waste in U23.
Yeah.
Even though theoretically he's the one you can win in U23, but if you have him, like, I feel like you just plow him right into champion Europe. There's Musiala, AAA, De Kuyper, Diogo Costa, Musiala. I mean, all of the heavy hitters are here in great matchups. Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of good picks. A lot of interesting ones. But I was watching Harry Trades' he finished 4th. I was watching his reward stream kind of earlier on, and he was going through the leaderboard, and I can't remember who it was, but there was this wacky. Oh, that's what it was. It was Stanisic at Leverkusen. Somebody had him in their team, and they were like 2nd or 3rd. They beat Harry, and that was under 23. And obviously, the guy knew he was going to play because guys are away to AFCON and whatever. But in under 23, anyone could smash. Get you up there in that sense. So
it feels more
like
wide open than ever. And I think it's a combination of not that many truly dominant players, but also the ones that are dominant are played outside of U23, like Bellingham or I'm just thinking of all the ones that we've had over the last few years that have aged out, and those guys were always in U23, and now it doesn't feel like it's as strong anymore.
Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of goalkeepers there too.
We had some feedback. I actually talked to SR Monkey, who I noticed was in the chat here, about how we changed the pick scores that for capped modes that now it doesn't take into it takes into account the cost, but it's not weighted as heavily. We had like a lot of feedback that guys who had like L15s of 12 and were expected to score 19 had really good grades because they were outscoring them, and that was less helpful. But so that's why you'll see the cap mode ones are not quite as cost heavy, but we still have, plenty of guys. Well, Bilo. Saliba's only a 48. Gosh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's some decent Geese small.
He's still hanging down here. Africa Brown, if he's on to start, 36 there. He's a double decisive kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Home to Boavista, I think that is. That's a derby of sorts, so that'll be spicy.
Yeah, that's pretty.
A great form.
Better than it's been. I'll give him that.
Better than it's been. Yeah.
That's
why he's L15 solo.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So if anybody's like looking for a low cap guy with a good pick score, I just recommend using this pick score page and using the slider here, and you can just figure out.
I love that.
Yeah, it's all there. Yeah, I think that does it. I was just saying to Quinny before, I'm trying to get these closer to 30 minutes than 60 minutes, and we're at 40 here, so I think that's pretty good. So,
only about 3 or 4 rabbit holes. That was all.
Exactly. There's always some. That's what I have to. Yeah, there's always some. So anyway, thank you everyone for coming. For those of you who are watching live or watching after, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to this guy right here. Thank you very much. Mike Basson was just reminding us Boa Vista Derby is with Porto.
Roger.
Not Benfica. So anyway, thank you for that, Mike. And thanks everyone. And good luck with your lineups.